Bear with me while I get YouTube up to stream. Alright, looking good. Okay, so today I'm here to talk to you about my latest PC upgrade. I just got this one in the mail. It's a 970 Evo Plus in 1TB. And I'm going to be watching these volume levels like a hawk because I tried to record this just before and it cut out some audio. Alright. So I've been wanting to get into VR for years, and I've been running an i7 7740X on the Intel Extreme platform, LGA 2066. And I've been waiting for them to release a CPU on a price point that I could actually afford. And the closest thing that's come to it is the 10900X, which was a little bit of a punch in the face when I realized it, but when I looked at it, the 10900K on the 1200 LGA platform actually performs better than the Intel Extreme version. It's like, why did I spend the money to get an LGA 2066 motherboard and a CPU that I knew that I wasn't going to be using forever, that I'd be replacing with the CPU, and then the CPUs that are offered in the lineup just do not compare in performance to what Intel are offering on their other platforms. So you may be able to see from my YouTube profile that I've actually added a little red dot to it, because that's right guys, I am going AMD. I'll show you what I'm getting. Getting some Kingston HyperX Fury RAM in 2x 16GB modules, because I've heard that I'm running 2x dual channel on the X570 motherboards for AMD doesn't work particularly well. And I'm also getting a Ryzen 9 3900 XT processor and an MSI Meg X570 Unify motherboard, and to top it off, a RTX 2070 Super from MSI. I like MSI. Their build quality is always good. I haven't had any problems with them. I was running Intel stuff for quite a while, and basically what I realized is that their build quality isn't good. So I'd have graphics cards twisting sockets in PCIe Express. I'd have voltage problems whenever I'm trying to do an overclock. I'd have problems with supporting RAM, the RAM modules that I'm trying to overclock and all that sort of stuff. And I just got over it when I was back in the Intel 920 DO stepping days. The DO stepping was a relatively limited processor. It was an upgrade of the C stepping 920. And I was going to upgrade from that into better i7 processors as well, but I got shafted again. So that's twice I've been shafted by Intel now. And basically, I've made this decision to go over to AMD after a lot of soul searching and a lot of looking at actual benchmarks and all that sort of stuff. I'll go and have a look here at the Intel Passmark at the moment, and you have a look at the CPU scores, and you see the Ryzen 3900 XT sitting there at a sweet 33,000 points. That is multi-core performance. That is not single-threaded performance, or like what you might not expect from a game. Granted, some Intel processors, say like the 10900, can perform better than this under certain workloads, but one, I'm a streamer, and two, I like doing OBS recordings at the same time as I'm playing games. So I like to stream. I use Restream at the moment to get onto Twitch and also onto YouTube. But I also like to have an OBS recording running in the background to pick up all the high quality stuff, because my uploads to Twitch, because I'm obviously not affiliated, and to YouTube, because I'm obviously not partnered, are only at about 720p, even though I do upload at 60 FPS. So you do get the FPS, but you don't get the full 1080p, like resolution quality with the 60 FPS to go with it. That doesn't change the fact that that is actually what I am uploading. So I am uploading at that quality. So basically at the moment I'm running an R9 380, so a Radeon card. I've slowly gravitated towards the Radeon cards because they are better quality and better money for what you get from them. If I go down to my current video card in Passmark, it's like all the way down the bottom. So it's only getting about 6,000. Now I have a little bit of a rule when I update my gear. It must at least have twice the performance. I only bought this system 2 years ago, well about a year and a half ago, and I did so with the intention of upgrading, using the existing motherboard and cooler and all that sort of stuff. I have a Corsair H80i V2 that fits nicely inside my case, even though it's a cheap as budget Corsair case. And that's why I've been so impressed by MSI, because with its build quality, I have not had a single problem with any of their gear. And like I'm using an Asus Strix card at the moment, so it's an R9 380 Asus Strix overclocked, and it's been great, and it still works well for just about everything. And I can play Battlefield 5, and there's no problems. But as soon as I try to run streaming or recording at the same time, I get really bad stutter. So flex time. Basically, as I've said, I'm getting an R9 3900 XT processor, the UniFi motherboard from MSI, because, and MSI, God, if you look into MSI motherboards, specifically heat temperature testing on their VRMs, where the voltage is coming in and all that sort of stuff, some of their product lineup is even going as high as 90 degrees under load. And with the UniFi motherboard, people have tested it under load, and it's only hitting about 60. So that is something to look into. Don't just go by what I'm saying. Research your motherboards and stuff like that. See what sort of temperatures the VRMs and the caps and all that sort of stuff are going to be reaching before you invest in something this pricey, basically. This is in Australian dollars, not American dollars, but in Australia we pay a premium to get quality components. Otherwise you can buy it from the United States and you import it, but then you've got to pay about $120 shipping on top of what you're actually buying. So it just does not work out. So I typically try to buy in Australia. I've been using MSY for years. MSY Computers has always been the budget that I've used them for everything, but since they've started closing down stores and other providers have started providing on par price, I've just started going to other Australian retailers because, yeah, I mean, I'm a PC builder, I'm a computer technician, even though I drive forklifts. And I'm not willing to pay a premium of $200, $300 on my build just because I'm going through MSY, which is cheaper, which now has a product line that doesn't even provide most of what I want for an enthusiast build. Got a new headset. I've got a 256 gigabyte 960 Evo in my computer at the moment, which is great as my boot drive, but when I'm running games like Phantasy Star Online 2 now, it just does not have enough room left over on the hard drive for putting other games on it. So that's the reason why I bought this guy. And I'll be putting that into my computer later today. I'll have to strip my computer down from the table, pull out my video card, look at all the shielding, because I'll have to put the old M.2 card into the other slot that I have on my motherboard. And I'll be right back. One sec. Just noticed something. Got a message. Alright, and back. So, the reason why I've switched over to AMD is because they just provide so much more value for what you're getting. So if I have a look in the actual list here, if I ignore all the the ultimate Threadrippers and all that sort of stuff, which you basically can only afford if you have a silver spoon shoved up your ass, if I go down to about here, you got the 3900 XT doing 33,000 compared to my old processor, which I've already said. And it was a bit of a soul-searching moment for me to find a new graphics card that I could use with my stuff. I wanted to go AMD, not because I'm an AMD fanboy, but just because compatibility, and because it also runs on PCIe 4. But with a PCIe 4 compatible motherboard, I don't need to worry about that for a while. I can wait for more cards to come out that perform better, because I know that as soon as Intel releases a card that performs better than the 2070, basically AMD is going to respond with Radeon will respond with a card that does better, that runs on PCIe 4. Otherwise, computer parts have been going up in prices. I used to think an enthusiast build would cost you about $3,000 Australian, or about $1,800 American, if you wanted to buy generally the best parts that you could get. Maybe not going for a full 2080 Ti experience or something like that, but you could generally build a computer that was future-proofed for about 2-3 years for under 2,000, roughly, maybe $2,500, without upgrading too many of your components. But this has changed. What has happened is that everything is just becoming more expensive. Say if you wanted to get, say, something on the top of the list here, like an RTX 2080 Ti, that's $1,160 US, which is about $2,000 Australian. $2,000 for a graphics card? I mean, I remember when I paid $800, $900 for a PCIe SSD card. The OCZ Revo Drive X2 version 3 or whatever it was, something like that. But I'm not going to pay that. I'm not going to pay $5,000 for a new rig, especially when I've just got a new Rift S. I've always wanted to get into VR, so now I have to get a computer system that can support it. How am I going to do it? It's affordable and upgradable. The decision I've come to is a PCIe 4.0 board that supports expansions for your video card to be PCIe 4 compatible. Also supports PCIe for SSDs. That's basically all I want. And the good thing about the board that I'm getting is it supports up to 3 M.2 SSDs. Considering I've got 2 now, I will want to have that little bit of room available for if I want to get another SSD down the track and have 3 terabyte drives running on SSD, on M.2. So yeah, weird flex, I suppose, but like this is what I'm getting for my money. Yeah, I'm getting RAM that I can overclock to 3600, which is future-proofing. Because the Ryzen 4000X, whatever it's going to be, will be supported by the X570 chipset on the AMD motherboards. So I know that in a year's time, when they, well, probably in September, when they release the new processors, that I'll be able to upgrade to a new processor and still use it on my same board, as opposed to Intel, which every single time I buy a CPU, there has been no point using the same motherboard for the new CPU. Because they change their socket sizes and their compatibility so often, it's just not worth it. So as I said, the motherboard that I'm getting there, it should have a decent amount of hours before it dies, because the caps are rated good, the VRM is rated good. The video card, I will remain on the green team for the video card, because it does perform better than, say, the 5700 XT. But that said, I'll be thinking about using my processor, which will only be under like 10 to 20% load in just about anything, to do my streaming. So I'll be using the X264 encoding to do that. And well, the 3900 XT is just a standout performer in that field. It can multi-thread, and it is in the top. Like, it's right there. I mean, if you're not building a Threadripper system that costs thousands, like, I mean, throw away your kids' college fund, thousands, then the 3900 XT is basically what you want to get. And of course, I'm going to be running this system for the next 2-3 years. And I've wanted to be doing VR streaming, so the gear that I'm going to be getting will allow me to do that for 2,700 Australian dollars, which roughly goes down to about less than $2,000 American. I mean, there is just no contest. AMD is winning on the CPU race. If I wanted to get a 10900X or a 10900K, I would be paying $400 more, $500 more for it, and it wouldn't have the multi-threading performance that I want to be able to do things like running Photoshop, like running After Effects, like running DaVinci Resolve 16, like running like any form of like rendering or like compiling or streaming. It's a better solution. So that's my flex for the day. I'm going to get this stuff ordered. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a video of me putting the system together. I have been a PC builder for a long time. I've been building computers since I was 13 years old. I am now 34. So that's 20 years experience building computer systems. If you want to see a video of me building my new system, when I finally have all the components for it, I'll be chucking this SSD straight in though. So I'll have to pull out my video card and put it under the heat shield and all that sort of stuff. But later, when I get all the components and I get my Rift S and all that sort of stuff, if you want me to make a video of it, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I hope this has been somewhat informative to you of what things you need to look out for when you're buying new PC components, how you can generally judge how they might be future-proofed. And yeah, one of the most important parts that I learnt from this particular dive into the new PC components that are actually available now is that you might be able to buy a motherboard for $600, $700, $800, but if its VRMs are running at 90 degrees Celsius, they're not going to last very long. Okay, signing off. Catch you next time. Null Element.